Hi everyone, it's Deborah back again. Today I'm sharing with you my design team project from Tsunami Rose. So first of all, I wanted to start with the papers and then I'll show you through the journal that I've made. So the papers are just beautiful, and thank you to Daisy Collins for sharing these with me and asking me to do a project with them. They're just beautiful bright colours, and this particular set, in fact she sent me I think about 4 of the different sets that coordinate, but this particular set is called Birds, Bees and Peonies, and they're very vibrant colours. Particularly there's a blue which is super bright, but I think I actually used all of that in the actual journal, and as well as the bright ones such as these gorgeous journaling cards with the florals on them. Now there's a sample of the blue there, that blue is gorgeous. As well as that, she's put in a number of muted ones. So these are muted black and white ones, but they've just got a hint of colour in the green, pink, blue, and then this other sort of moss green, and then plain black and white journaling cards. So I've still got lots left that I've printed out that I can put into the actual journal itself when I start using it. There's these tags which are just super pretty, all the pinks and the gorgeous background colours that she's used, and then these really vibrant gorgeous florals. Plus there's also lots of other things like this one here, and I've cut most of it up, I must say, when I printed them out. I've printed some on copy paper and some on a heavier weight cardstock, but I guess that those people who know me and watch my videos on YouTube would know that I'm not really a super bright person, so this was a really good thing for me to do, to be pushed out of my comfort zone. So the first thing that I did with all my papers is I printed them and cut them out, and then I tea dyed them. So you'll see as I go through the journal that there's some tea dyed more than others, but here's an example of one that I didn't actually put into the journal that's been tea dyed. So now let's have a look at what I achieved. I started with a cover that I made. It's a soft covered journal, and I made it from a manila file folder. So I've just cut it down to size and covered it with the papers. You can see the papers here. There's lots of collaging on this particular set, and I also stuck some other pieces on that I chopped out. So this is all stuck on. This one here is the actual single paper. So it just depends on what I had on hand when I covered it. And then I put a doily on it. So I've just wrapped a doily around it. And I really love that the doily that I've chosen has got those beautiful vibrant colours, the same as the papers that she's used in her printables. And I've put some ties on the front. Because the file folder is quite long, I used the whole thing. These inside ones here on the back and the front are just folded over, and I've made little pockets out of them. So this is one of her printable tags, and I've put it onto a printed it on a piece of heavier weight cardstock, and then on the inside I've added in some lightweight scrapbooking paper that I had. This one here is the tea dyed, and I've added a little envelope in and put one of her printable library cards or receipts on the front with the gorgeous red roses. They're beautiful. And then inside I've put one of those as well. So again, this is printed on a heavier weight cardstock, and I've added some sari silk that I own onto it, and I've tucked the pocket in so I can just slip that in there. And I love this little one here, the bee journal, just gorgeous. So moving on, this is one of the printables on this side, and obviously I've folded them in half, so we'll see the other side of that as we go through. And then just to add my own sort of quirky touch, I've used a couple of these beautiful cards that I own. So these are actually greeting cards. I have shown them in previous videos and altered them, but I haven't altered them in this instant. I've just used that as a journaling space, and this is part of Daisy's collection here. So this is Paradise. I've put some scrapbooking paper underneath and cut out the word Paradise. I love these kids running from the spray of the ocean. So that's a great little journaling spot there. Moving over, this is one of her collage pages, and I've added the honey for sale and the little bee that also come from her papers. And here, this is a frame, and I've just stuck it onto the tea-dyed paper with some washi tape. This again is one of the beautiful collage papers here. She's done a lovely job with all the different things that she's put together, but it really, really works. And then on this side, I've stuck down some lace, and I've got this little vintage photo and some washi tape there. The next page is also one of her collage pages with the tea-dyed paper on the other side. So all I did to achieve this was I just dip the backs of them into the tea dye and just give them a bit of a poke, and some of it's come through. You can probably pick up there on the edges where some of the tea dye is sort of rolled over the edges onto the actual printed paper that I've used, and I really love that effect because it's made it more me. This is a very muted one. I like that she's done some super bright ones and some muted ones, and I'll just show you the comparison. So you get some that are super bright like this, and then she's done a muted version of them with the lines across it. So that's a great little journaling spot because the background's all muted. I've left that just as tea dyed, and here you can see the tea coming through on this one, but it's still featuring this really bright. This blue is just so beautiful against the pink and the browns. It just worked really well. Here's a tea dyed page, and I've just used a Tim Holtz paper clip, one of her cutouts on the printables that I've put onto the paper clip, and then I've got a couple of sheets of old vintage writing paper that I've just folded up and tucked under there, so I'll be able to take that out and use it. And then here she's got a couple in the set that are just the writing with a little motive or something up here, so lots and lots of space for journaling. And the spots you see on there in the brown, that's all my tea dyeing, just to, you know, as I said, alter it and make it a bit look like more of the sort of grungy look that I prefer. But I've been really surprised how much I like this and the beautiful colours, because I would personally never go for colours like this, but having looked at this I might have to in the future, because you can see the juxtaposition between the gorgeous printable paper and the tea-dyed paper. It just looks stunning with the browns and then this bright blue and the touches of pink. Really pretty. So this is one of her pages here, and I've actually covered an envelope with it. So I've got the envelope on that side, and then here I've put some scrapbooking paper and some washi tape in on the inside, but I've left this blank. I don't know, I may cover that. I might just use that as a journaling spot. I'm not really sure yet. Another one of the more muted ones with this background image of the bird, again with the tea dye on it. And then on this side I've put just a little cluster that I've made with all different little things that I've had left over, just to give it a bit of interest as well on this, rather than having a plain page. We flip over here, put that in. We flip over here to another of her gorgeous printables, and this one as well, which I've printed on card and made into a little tuck spot here. So this here is actually the packaging from a Tim Holtz product, and I often use his packaging. It comes pre-punched with the hole. I've cut it down. On the back I've covered the branding up with some scrapbooking paper and added some more of that sari silk, and this is one of Daisy's printables, so that's on there as well with the words. She's got that as well. I thought that looked really cute in there. I've folded the corner of the page down. I like doing that sometimes, and I've matched it up so we've got this sort of pattern in the top corner. And then flipping over to the centre, I've binded it with some waxed linen thread, and I've got these two pages in the centre which are great for journaling. Again, you can see the tea dyeing coming through. If you didn't want to do that, the page is fine without it. It's just for me personally, I wanted to do that, and I love these images here. These little hanging frames are gorgeous. So we're moving into the back of the book now, and I've got one of the printable things here that I've cut out along with the scrapbooking paper, and I've covered the tea dye paper with that. This is also a printable, so that whole thing is a printable. There's nothing else added on there apart from a bit of the tea dye. It's gorgeous, isn't it? More lines to write on here. And flipping over, I've got another of these really funny cards that I've picked up, and I really like this one too. It's ever so cute, and I like that black and white against the bright colour. I think it looks lovely, and I've tucked one of the cutouts that she's got in her printable kits up here. So that'll be another good journaling spot, and then there's vibrant colours marrying off against that black and white. So on this side, it's just trying to go in there and wondering why I can't. Oh, there you go. Just finished it, so I've got a bit of glue stuck on there, my apologies. This side is the other half of one of her printables, so that's all got the lines on it, so that's a great journaling spot. And again, this gorgeous vintage frame. And this here is also from the printables, and I've just flipped back to where I've used the other one of those, which was back here. I used the other one, so this comes, there's two side by side, and I've used this one here and stuck it on so that you'll have somewhere to write. But with this one here, I've actually cut the center out, and I've only stuck it down around the edges. So my idea would be that I will find a photograph or something, but probably a photo, and I'll be able to slide the photo in. You can see that there's a gap there, and I'll be able to slide that photo in. I haven't stuck any of this down, so that it shows through that frame. So that was my idea behind that, is to actually cut that centerpiece out as well, so that I can put a photograph in there later. More tea dyeing on the back of the pages, and this is all one of her collages, so there's nothing been added on there. And then on this side, I took part of a doily and just sewed that on, and this is one of the tag printables that I've put in there. And here we've got the other half of that beautiful muted printable, and then on this side the tea dye, and then some more of the printable pages that you get in this kit, and then another one of my cards, which I've purposely put again against a very vibrant page of printed paper here. So I've got that there. And then on here I've created, with a piece of lace, I've created a little pocket, and I've printed out one of these onto a piece of card so that it's nice and heavyweight, and I can put it right on the back. I can also write up here on the blank tea-dyed paper. And this is the other half of that muted paper here. And on this side, I've made this little tuck spot out of an old book page. I had it lying around, and I thought the flower and the flower would go really well together, so I've put it in here. I've got one of the printables, and I've printed it onto cardstock. I've put a eyelet in here and some of the sari silk as well, so I've got it tucked in there. And this gorgeous printable here, I like the pop of red here. I think that looks really cute. And then this is the last page of the book, so I've got the side edge, so that's just folded over. I haven't covered this particular piece of manila folder in anything. I don't know if I will. I may. I've got a couple of little journaling cards. They're just sort of not really heavyweight, but sort of more of a lightweight card. And I just bought a ring. You get them on a ring, you know, one of the rings you can open up, and they're for flashcards. And I just bought a packet of those from Officeworks, which is our local large stationery supplier here in Australia, and tucked them in there. And then this also is one of the black and white printables. So they're meant to be cut apart, obviously, but in this instance, I've just cut around them and cut the little triangles out of them as well. And I've just folded them up so that I've got some writing space on the back, and just tucked them in there with those. And then there's the back of the book. So I hope that you've enjoyed seeing through this lovely little journal that I've made using the Tsunami Rose printables. And thank you again to Daisy Collins. I will put the information about where you can buy these printables in the description area of this video. And thank you again for watching. Cheers, this is Deborah.